Hey guys, it's me, Delta One here with godsairsofters, and I'm gonna be. Hopefully, you won't mind me uploading through my webcam. It makes it a lot easier for me to upload videos where I'm kind of pressed for time. But today, as you saw from the title, this involves real steel. I do real steel shooting as well. This doesn't mean I'm putting airsoft. This is just to, just let y'all know that real steel can be just, if not a teeny bit more expensive to do than airsoft. And if you're thinking about getting a real steel, here's an option. First off, I'm just going to say it's best to start on a 22 rifle. And that's my personal opinion. But today, what we have here is a standard, just a bone standard 9130 Mosin Nagant. Now, these used to be, 60 bucks. Yeah, 60 bucks, and it shoots a 7.62 by 54R. This is some surplus stuff. Now, just to let y'all know, it's empty. Now, if you're thinking about doing real steel, and you want to get something that's kind of cool, that's not a 22, or if you've shot real steel before and you just don't, recoil's not a problem, I would recommend you get one of these. These are they're just fun. Now, they can be, there's a whole lot when it comes to buying a Mosin. You want to look for markings, you want to look for this and that, and to be honest, I'm just going to tell you straight up, if you're thinking about getting into real steel, I'll just give you a little bit of a buyer's guide to finding a Mosin. Okay, so right now there's 3 that are out that are in the affordable range. Now these are anywhere from, if you're lucky, you'll find them for $100. If you're not lucky, you'll find them for about $220, depending on where you live. Now, I know for the UK viewers, unfortunately, you can only have the military team milled models, which are they're kind of expensive. But this is a Ishmash made, which is the factory came out of I believe it's in 1942, which means this was produced during Stalingrad. This was made probably to go to Stalingrad at some point. You never know with these things. It's been re-arsenaled and whatnot. Now, there's probably some people who are going to correct me on a few things, and feel free to correct me. Just be nice about it. Now, what you want to look for on a Mosin is the first thing you want to check is the bore. Check to see if the bore is good. Check the rifling. Now, if you go and you pick up a Mosin, you're like, wow, the machining on this is kind of bad. All Mosins, pretty much almost every Mosin, except the exception of a few Mosins, like the Remington Mosins, which are really rare. I don't expect y'all to find those. Or a Finnish Mosin. Those are the best Mosins you can buy, the Finnish ones. This is a bone stock Russian one. Now, I bought this one for $129 about 2 years ago. It came with a sling, the oil can, Mosin multi-tool, a Mosin cleaning kit, which is pretty much useless because you'll just scratch up your barrel. But that's what was issued. Now, another thing is, when you shoot the surplus stuff, you really got to clean these things out. And this will come coated in something called cosmoline, which is basically a liquid form of cancer. So, get rid of it. Now, there's a few techniques that people use to get rid of them. I personally just go in and clean it out the best I can with rags and whatnot. And then there'll be some kind of like it'll be into the wood. Cosmoline will get into it, and it'll just soak up into the wood. The fun way to get rid of that is to go do a Mad Minute. If you don't know what a Mad Minute is, you take 5 rounds, you load it up, fire it as quick as possible, and do that for a minute. And they call them a Mad Minute. That'll basically get your barrel hot enough to where it'll basically boil it out. You can just wipe it down as you go. But Mosins are fun. Now, the history behind them is cool because you're buying an actual World War II piece of history. Granted, the rifle may have not gone there, may have not seen combat, but the fact that you can own a World War II weapon for under, $500 is a great deal. Now, if you're gonna get a Mosin, don't expect high precision machining. When you get a bullet in there, after you shoot a few times, you'll literally have to go, like, sometimes it's called sticky bolt syndrome. And the bolt will literally be, like, really hard. You'll have to be, like, you'll have to manhandle it. And these are just fun, simplistic rifles. What I find hilarious is that the airsoft versions of these go for double the price of how much a real one is. It's like, if you're going to end up spending that much money on one, you may as well do that and buy what they call a spam can of ammo, which is 440 rounds. Looks like it comes in a big can of spam. And they're green, typically. Now, that's basically all there is to a Mosin. They come with bayonets. They're fun. People sporterize them, which I don't agree with doing so. If you're going to put a scope on it, go time period correct. Like my sniper Mosin you see directly above me. That's a time period correct Mosin. That came like that. It's a replica. If you're going to drill into the receiver, do it the right way. Put it in here. Do it the right way. Or if you have a hex receiver, which is a round receiver, the hex receivers have these special mounts. They're a little more expensive than... Actually, the most expensive original style scope mounting, I would say, would be that. And at that point, I still wouldn't have the heart to drill into it and all that. Now, that's something you take to a professional gunsmith and have it done. Don't try and do it yourself. But these are very affordable rifles. Right now, ammo form is almost cheaper than 22 because everyone's buying 22. I haven't been able to buy 22 in a brick for 3 years because of the stupid shortage. Now, you could do all sorts of fun things. These can be used for, here in Texas, we use them for hog hunting all the time. It's a great round. And hogs have become a serious issue. I'm in the middle of Houston. Believe it or not, I went on a bike ride. This was many moons ago, and I was behind. We have this trail that goes behind a dam that was built in the 40s when Houston flooded, like literally flooded. So they built this dam. And I was behind there, and they have a road. It's the only road in Houston at the time. It's called Old Farmers Market Road. And I went back there. I was on my bike, hocked a loogie, and all of a sudden I heard something grunt back, and I heard tree branches breaking. And I look over to my right, there's a 400-pound hog staring at me, coming towards me. I'm in the middle of Houston. So, they're a nuisance. They're a pest. But anyways, back to the Mosin. Mosins come in different variants as well. They have a huge list of variants. I collect them. I have 9 of them. I've completed pretty much my collection almost. They come in something called an M38, which is an artillery and cavalry unit Mosin. Yes, cavalry. They have the M44, which was a tanker crew carbine version, which was primarily designed to go for tanks because a full 9130 is really long, as you can tell. I mean, that's a G3 above my sniper Mosin, and my Mosin has a good 4 inches on it. So that's how big these things are. So the carbine version has a 20-inch barrel, as opposed to this has 27 point something. It's almost 28. And so those are fun to shoot because they have this huge muzzle flash. And then there's of course the Hex Mosin, which I have there. I have a Hex PU sniper. I have another one, which on Mosins, if you want to look for it, when you pull the bolt back, see how there's no holes drilled into that at all? Sometimes you'll find Mosins, you pull open the bolt and you'll look inside and you'll see 3 holes drilled in. And then you'll see that they've been filled in place. That means it was a sniper at one point in time. They call them ex-snipers. So I have Ishmash made factories. I have Tula Mosins. I have a first year ever round receiver, which is in 1936. No, actually I believe Ishmash made the first one in 1935. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But anyways, the machining on it's unbelievable. It's ridiculously good. But Tula is a factory, and then there's one called Molot. The Molot ones are recent. I haven't personally got my hands on a Molot Mosin. Actually, I've held one. It was a sniper converted, but it was we couldn't tell if it was an original one. I mean, original snipers go for a ridiculous amount of money, and they're incredibly rare to find in terms of Mosins and whatnot. But this is a great beginner's starters. I mean, it's gonna have some kick. It will. I mean, the first time you shoot a Mosin, your shoulder's gonna hurt. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But when you buy a Mosin, like I said earlier, don't expect a ridiculous amount of precision. For instance, the triggers on most Mosins they leave you guessing sometimes. Now, I know that may sound bad, but, you know, to me, that's the whole fun of Mosin, is it's literally, it's got a personality to it. So I can sit here and have the trigger go like that, and be like, okay, that's what I know what to expect, and then do it again, and then it just, wait for, it went off. But it's not like an accidental going off, it's just sometimes it's not where it, you know, normally is when you pull the trigger. So, I'm not downing it. It sounds like I'm downing it, but I can tell you this: I own an RPK, I own SKSs, I own shotguns, I own a few handguns. I've got a Judge, I've got a Makarov, a double stack Makarov, I've got a 22 revolver, I've got a Nagant revolver, I've got, you know, my shotguns are a Remington 1100, I have a Glock, I have a double barrel shotgun that's a family hand-me-down, but I haven't fired it because it's not in shootable condition. I've got 22 Barrett. I've got my 22 Barrett. I should make videos on that. I should show you. I took a Snow Wolf. See the Snow Wolf? I put a Ruger 1022 inside of it, and yeah. And then you can see the Nagant, the Judge. Now, most of those handguns are loaded. Don't worry. The triggers are behind the little, where they're being held, they're behind it, so it's not going to go off. It's just, I keep a handgun on me at all times in my house for home defense. But back to the Mosin, these are fun guns. They are. I will sit here and tell you the funnest gun I love to go and shoot is my Mosin. Period. I can't explain it to you. Sure, shooting the RPK is nice, which you see right there. It's nice and all, but, you know, it's just, I can't explain it. I like having more interaction with my gun. I like having the feeling of going and doing that. I can't explain it. Just like one of my favorite pistols to shoot is my single action 22 revolver. That's probably my favorite pistol to go and shoot. But Mosins, they're simple, they're extraordinarily reliable. I would call these the AKs of bolt actions. But you can do a lot if you really got to, if you're going to sporterize it. I'd just go buy a Chinese Type 53. It's the same thing as an M44 Tinker Crew Mosin. But guys, if you're really interested in looking at it, ammo's about 19 to 17 cents a round, depending where you get it. I would recommend you buy Spam Can. I'm quitting buying surplus to shoot. I'm buying it just to have it. I'm not a prep or anything. It's just nice to have ammo, because you never know if it's going to be hard to get. I'm getting into reloading for this because the ammo just runs cleaner, and it's, you know, it just doesn't hurt, because I'm going to start doing long range shooting with my my sniper Mosin. Now, again, these have also been going up in value, so it doesn't hurt to buy one. So later on down the road, say you need some extra cash, you can triple your money. Every single Mosin I've ever bought is worth more than what I pay for it now. So I know people who buy them by the crates. I'm buying a crate. It's a good investment. It just doesn't hurt, you know. If gun nuts are going to drive up prices by saying they're going to take them away, you know, there's nothing you can do, because people are going to say that. I'm just saying buy these because these are good investments. Because people said, you know, about M1 Grands, this is like, no one's going to want to have an M1 Grand because it's just a dirty old surplus rifle. That was back when M1 carbines were $100 a pop. Now they're something like $1,000 to $2,000 depending on the condition. Same with M1 Grands. They were, you know, 150 bucks. Now you can't find one for under $1,000 at your local gun store where I'm at. I know if you're part of some rifles association, you get them for like $6, but they're in not so great condition. But you know, you used to be able to buy crates of M1 Grands for like less than $2,000. 20 of them for $2,000. Nuts. I would do that. But you know, the surplus will not last forever on this ammo. I will say that. It's been getting more expensive over the past couple of years. Thank God that PPU makes great hunting, target, and just affordable good brass ammo, and their brass is incredibly good. There's a guy I watch he's had the same brass shells from them for 10 years, and he says they're on their 20 reloads, and they looked brand new, and they looked like, he said, they're still good to be reloaded. He's just, so it's just a good idea to pick one of these up, and they're fun. And I'm not saying, the reason you airsoft is to go shoot each other. Grant, I understand that, but it's also just fun to go plank around at the range especially if you have property. These are the most absolute fun guns to have. And I've seen torture tests of these things. I mean, these are just fun. It's a fun gun. That's literally all I can say. I know this wasn't a very organized and orchestrated video, but guys, if you're seriously thinking about buying a real steel gun and you're just like, well, I don't know, they're too expensive, Mosins aren't really that bad if you don't know what they are. I mean, they've been used. It's the longest service rifle ever recorded in history. It is still in use today by the Russian military as an option for their sniper since 1891. This has been in service longer than an M2 50 caliber machine gun. So, I mean, at one point, our Army had these. Believe it or not, at one point. It was not very long, but this was what was given. It was an option. And they turned around, and after the Army said we don't want it, they turned around and sold them for $2 to $3 a piece. Oh, I wish I had a time machine. Those are Remington Mosins. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't bore you too much. If you want to see more real steel videos, let me know, and whatnot. But guys, remember, life is good, and there will be more videos coming soon. Airsoft RC has sent me a new gun, and I'm just going to tell you, it's under $100. It's a fully functional and fully upgradable AEG, and I'm going to basically make it as a review as a budget gun. But anyways, guys, life is good, and I'll see you in the next video.